begins, please stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Welcome to Ontario League One action on a rainy day from Toronto, Ontario, right downtown in the heart at Varsity Stadium, home of the U of T Blues, and also a team with whom they've formed a partnership this year, the North York Nitros. You'll see a lot of Varsity Blues lining up in green. They'll be taking on the Woodbridge Strikers, last year's runner-up, who look to go top of the table and leapfrog Vaughan, a team they drew 1-1 earlier this year in a very exciting match. As right now, Woodbridge smelling a little bit of blood in the water with the opportunity to go top of the table, but North York would love nothing more than to add a signature victory this year. They are already 3-1, but a couple of those wins coming against teams below them in the standings, Aurora and Masters FC. Kickoff right away. We apologize for any technical difficulties that you may not be able to see the game right away. Trust us, we're working on that. It's been an extremely blustery, rainy day, and sometimes the unforeseen happens. So until then, if you've only got audio, we're glad to give it to you, and almost a giveaway right there, as going back towards their own goal after a little bit of a build-up was the North York Nitros. You've got the moving pictures in front of you. North York Nitros in green heading right to left, while Woodbridge in their white kits heading left to right, and they'll go for one right down. Of course, we were talking about the rain that has delayed this game from what was supposed to be a 3 o'clock start and now pushed it back to just before 4 o'clock Eastern time. And as a result of that, you'll see a lot of slippery conditions on the track. outside of this pitch, and you'll see the ball start to run extremely quickly. It was a very nice, dry, sunny day up until, I'd say about 2:30 today. And then at that point, everything changed when the skies opened up, and slipping and going to ground as a Woodbridge player as he falls. Devin Boyer picking it up, putting the ball forward. Boyer staying on it and keeping control until it's taken off by Brandon Wellington on the near sidelines. Foul given going the way of Woodbridge. They'll have the first free kick and the first foul of the day just inside their own half. This one's flicked across by Cherio. And then played back to former goalkeeper of the year here in League One, Matt George, former Laurentian Voyageur, spent some time in the second division, in Hungary, and now he's looking for another successful season as the stopgap between the posts, as this ball flies up and goes out of play for a Woodbridge throw just at about the halfway mark of this pitch. We've talked about the success of both of these teams and the fact that this division is very, very tight. You've got Vaughan at the top with 14 points, 13 for Woodbridge, Kingston following them with 11, Durham with 10, and then North Toronto 3-1 on the year and sitting on 9 points as a free kick given away. And your referee in the middle for this game, Timothy Wong, making sure that he doesn't have any conversations he doesn't want to have. There's lots of pleas for perhaps Mr. Wong to go to his book. He chooses not to do that, and it's going to be a free kick to the left of the keeper, almost adjacent of the 18-yard box on the near side, and about 40 yards out as the football markers here at Varsity Stadium help us out with that occasionally. So there are some, I guess, good points to be able to say about field sharing, but nonetheless, this ball whipped into the area, off ahead, and colliding were a couple players inside, but a good defensive effort by Christian Cavallini, heading back and marking his man. And that one took an errant header and went off out of play and did not trouble Matt George in the slightest as he gets it back in with the short play far side of the pitch. And Woodbridge will try to keep the ball on the turf and work it around. They forfeit possession almost immediately, but as we said, this wet turf is taking a few bounces. Oscar Cordone fouled and gets the ball back in, but too quickly, said Timothy Wong. He said either the ball was rolling or it was not where the foul took place, so Woodbridge has to bring it back and start again, giving time to set up for the home side of the North York Nitros. As for the first time today, you can see a little bit of the sun starting to peek out onto the field, and if that keeps up and we don't see any more as the ball is kicked out of play and we'll go for a North York throw, we might have a slightly drier field and change of conditions as this game goes on. So very much an adapt or die situation. Throw comes in into the area, headed back, and possession staying with North York and headed down again by Woodbridge, and then rattling around with 3 or 4 headers up, finally back to the midfield, where settling down with it on the far side and making a move and looking for a run, found it, but he and the winger were not on the exact same page, and as a result, it'll run out of play for a goal kick. Back to Matt George, saying let's pick up the intensity, as it's been a very sleepy first 4 minutes and 40 seconds after a 50-minute delay for weather conditions. Of course, safety is first, and when there's lightning in the area or anywhere around the area, protocol is to say from that moment the game is automatically delayed for 30 minutes, at which point they'll reassess. So you had your 30-minute delay until it was safe to go back onto the field. And then you were to tag on an extra 10 minutes because it had been a while since the players were able to limber up, and kicking this one out of bounds as a good opportunity to go in goal was Anthony Souza. He was looking for his 5th of the year. He's 2nd in the league, and it was knocked out of play in a great defensive effort by Cameron Brooks. Just to conclude that thought, though, at this point it is 40 minutes behind schedule, and then a little bit of a warm-up and the pageantry and the songs, and give an opportunity for the fans to get back to their seats. And they might like what they see here because it's the first corner this game for North York, and the sun has come out and might play havoc into the area. Getting a hand on it is George. and it dipped out of play, and as a result we'll go a corner kick from the other side. So 2 good chances from dead balls right here. Header getting on it first. That was Wellington. And no problem, back to George, and a good defensive play, good positioning, and tracking the runs by Woodbridge. And there's a reason they have yet to lose a game this year. Great ball down the sidelines. Apologies for that, just a couple audio issues, but no worries, we got you back here and we are still underway. You missed not a whole lot, just a quick touch in there and an opportunity for Mark Rogel, goalkeeper for North Toronto, to get his hands on the ball. Of course, we mentioned it off the top, but we should also follow it up. This North Toronto team having the ball right now and looking to time a run, and this one is sent wide of the net. The far side, options to the left and the right, but nothing really threatening the Woodbridge back line there for North Toronto, but this North Toronto team partnering with U of T. So the ability to use this wonderful facility here. And a truly downtown Toronto team. You have skills playing out of Cherry Beach, or excuse me, out of Monarch Park on the east side, which is a nice little stadium facility, but right in the heart of downtown here is North Toronto, and North being a relative term, I guess. But looking to showcase and get a few community members out and parlay that into attendance for U of T, as well as a lot of these players will, or a lot of these teams will share players, and the aforementioned Mark Rogel, one of them. Here's a chance coming forward for Savaliev, excuse me. He gets the ball into the middle, and they'll call a foul against North Toronto. That is their 4th already this game. So another opportunity gone by the wayside as both players jockeying for position, and crisis averted on the back line. Woodbridge working out of the back now. Sosa turned to the far side, going in and turning the ball over, and jumping on top of that was Abdel Alcanti. He's got a couple on the year, and it ricochets up to a teammate, and this time it's a collision in the center of the field, and it looks like the foul is going to go against Woodbridge this time, as 2 players colliding, one a little bit late. No need for a card, but getting up and then going back down and then getting back up again is Kyle Watson. Already has a goal to his name this year for Woodbridge. Instead, it will be a free kick for North Toronto. Just about 10 minutes in the 11th minute, technically, here at Varsity Stadium. About 35 yards out, excuse me, a left foot dipping and going in, and dealt with very cleanly by Cameron Brooks, and Brooks just heading it out to wherever is close and wherever is safe. Throwing on the far side now. Here's North Toronto getting it all the way into the 6, and a shot that went off the side of the post. Good reflexes there with George, as it was good control to be able to grab it, corral it, and turned. And North Toronto threatening off a chance from Anthony Sousa. And the first good one today. So Sousa, definitely the most dangerous man up front, and the first real good chance for either team this game. Woodbridge now looking for something going forward and on that far sideline down by the North Toronto bench as they inch up the pitch. See some of that patented control we've seen, and a good job getting the throw down to Oscar Cordon, number 9. He does well to keep possession. He's just outside the 18-yard box, looking for Kyle Watson to come up and knocking it out of play, a defender for North Toronto. Saveliev is back there battling hard, and it'll stay a throw with Woodbridge as it's knocked out once again. So any port in the storm right now for North Toronto after coming so close to finding the net and opening this scoring. Now a little bit of good pressure from Woodbridge and swarming players, but not able to keep possession. It's sent out again. This ball will stay with the team in white. Thrown in, Watson looking for help. Cordon battling this time. Comes to North Toronto, turned over again. Woodbridge going to ground in a hard battle there, looking for a call with Stephen Almeida. Did not get one. And Cameron Brooks watches that one go out. And throw back in for Woodbridge now. First 2 and beating Almeida to the ball. And this time it's turned over, so very sticking to that far sideline is a chance for Anthony Sousa, who had the ball come to his feet, but just as quickly ripped right off of it and kicked out of play again. See a lot of players on Woodbridge, and there's a reason why they're a dominant team. They're very adept at finding that talent that was good at an early age, like the aforementioned Cordon. He's on the ball right now. Oscar, of course, a mainstay with TFC Academy for many years, and knocking into another player and going to ground. It'll be another foul, as trying to have to watch himself with Neba McDonald. So his first foul of the game is rather incredulous, but actually called to national team camp last year for the senior squad and a mainstay on the youth squad for Canada. So spent some time over in England, Ireland, Scotland, with Dundee for a stint, I believe, and certainly with QPR for a little while. So Carrero looking to contribute to this Woodbridge team, but right now he heads off the pitch. And Cavallini pops this one into the corner looking for Cordon, the former TFC Academy prospect. Will have the ball at his feet right now. Not able to find a lot of room, but wins a throw. And just saying before, as Almeida with the ball in the corner and looking for help, and it's knocked out again, and just taking any option they can get. League One just doing a wonderful job to provide options for youngsters to play at a higher level. So often there's no room for Canadian kids to go anywhere, as a shot from distance and fools everybody and goes in. It looked rather harmless from the top of the 18, but that's what happens when it takes a skip. And it was a low shot that just sort of ricocheted off the boot of Andrew Dorea, and the former St. Bonaventure product has his first goal of the year. Just on the outside at the top of the 18, and he just ripped a shot that took a couple bounces And the opening goal there for Woodbridge when it looked like they didn't have many scoring opportunities.
Scored by number 6, Andrew Durai, in the 16th minute. It's number 6,
back in for George. And George has no problem grabbing that as he plays to his defense. So a surprising 1-0 victory here. Or 1-0 victory would probably be a little presumptuous. A 1-0 lead here in the 17th minute, which is the timing of the goal score. And it kind of came out of nowhere. So Woodbridge, actually having some trouble getting their footing there, as wiping out and going to ground was the goal scorer. Forfeiting possession now. A little slower, and you can see Woodbridge starting to find their shape. There's not really a need to push forward, and McDonald is being chased as he plays it up and eventually gives it away. Cavallini had the ball taken off his boot. McDonald had to come back to him, skipped off, and then out of play here on the near side as giving chase was Dylan Carrero, who's back on the field, no problem. And no worse for wear as it appears. Give away to Sousa, that's not a good idea, but there to knock the ball out of bounds and keep everything safe is Sosa. Good control here by Boyer, and he'll play back to the center back and moving the ball up the field as much as possible is David Colelli. Colelli, also a U of T player, applying his trade on this turf. In fact, an interesting dynamic as many players are, yet the leading goal scorer, Anthony Sousa, applies his trade across town at Ryerson, so a little bit of rivalry in one season and teamwork in another. As a header picked out of the sky and given back to North Toronto, who had a lot of the possession early on, then sort of gave it up until the goal, and after the goal have done well to keep on the ball. This one a little too far, and trying to keep it in was Boyer. He could not do that, and the assistant referee at the half mark looks down the line and says that one was in fact out of play, and it'll go back to Woodbridge. So we are just in the 20th minute of play. If you're just joining us, Cal McClellan here on the League One live stream broadcast. We're pleased to bring it to you. Some of the best local football we have to offer here in Canada is the always formidable Woodbridge Strikers have a 1-0 lead on the road as they're traveling downtown here to Toronto, which has been a little pandemonium in terms of weather, but it has cleared up now as the pitch is starting to dry out a little bit, but it is still very, very slick, as you can probably see the dry wet patches kind of interlocking in the light and dark shades of green and going wide. And this is good distribution from a North York team, probably a little bit shell-shocked after a long goal. It was well hit, but skipped and took a bounce, and as a result, North York finds themselves down 1-0 to Woodbridge inside 21 minutes of play. Taking his time is Matt George, or picking out Almeida on the far side. He had a flick on for Carrero, who was running, and it was a great 1-2-3 set play, and an errant back pass comes to Carrero again, and he plays it in as he was looking for Christian Cavallini, but was spinning and turning, and if he were able to put that on the boot of Cavallini, well, that would have been something. Played out and given away now, and trying to hold a little bit of possession. The ball skipping around, and that's Tarek Rodriguez on the far side in the program for North Toronto. He's taking the throw right now. He had a good one, and he's been very good at that right back position. Knows exactly when to make runs, and is very good at directing headers, as he tried to get one up to Sousa there, but did not quite make it. But definitely very, very speedy on that back right flank, and they can use him going forward. Now it's Woodbridge, though, with possession, as they try to stretch the field and play out. This one's given away. Opportunity for North Toronto, got numbers going forward. And moving up, the diminutive number 9, Abdullah El-Kanti. Also a player on Ryerson as well. The Rams well represented here. And this pass errantly across the pitch runs out of play, and Woodbridge will take over. About 6 weeks or so into the season, this is week number 6, and it's when you start to feel who is the contender and who is the pretender, and what teams might have a late run in them later on. Is being fouled and going to ground is Oscar Corden. Corden staying down a little bit and offered a little bit of help. The 5th foul against North Toronto this game. And that's right around the time that referee Timothy Wong will start to have a conversation and say, listen, multiple fouls per player, you can start to see colors. So they'll have to be careful, and they'll have to be careful getting back. Nicholas Chariot on the ball, he plays back. And always dangerous is Sousa. He's lurking in between those 2 center backs, Cameron Brooks and Gabriel Sosa in white. Turned over, here is Sousa, plays a great ball to the corner, having to catch up with it on the wing. And a good rush and good control by North Toronto now. The Nitros. And they got 2 players in there and took the ball right off the boot. McDonald, and he was able to flick it just far enough that it'll run down into that far corner. Carrera quickly grabs the ball, plays it in. Almeida, the ball at his boot. Cavallini, flick back. Almeida. It's the goal scorer now, Dorea. And a ball lofted in, and it hangs up there just long enough, but having eyes for it the whole way was Rogel. And Mark Rogel going out and grabbing it, no problem. El-Kanti, the ball down, and rushing onto it is Savaliev. And he'll pick up a foul for his troubles, as going to ground was Chariot, and a good pace to get back by bad fouls going back towards their own line. Majority of these have come when they're rushing forward and perhaps trying to make a chance and realize that the defense already had it covered. Cordone's ball down. Giving chase is Steven Almeida. 2 on the campaign already for him. Does well to keep it in. Linesman's flag stayed down despite pleas from the Nitros. Almeida finding a player at the top of the box. That's Wellington, and his shot is well up and over as he looks for a deflection, and he does get a deflection as jogging towards the corner spot is Carrero. So first corner kick now for Woodbridge. First really free kick of any sort in an offensive position, but they could double their lead here in the 25th minute. Ball is low, in, and headed and taken care of by the back line. Kaleli had it out, trying to hit a half volley, and you know what they say, had his accuracy matched his ambition, he might well have tied or put them up 2, but in this case, well over and well out. And you know, you don't get up the pitch too much when you're a center back, so to have an option to take a half volley from about 30 yards out, why not? Give it a whirl. That's what Sosa did. It'll be a throw on the far side now for North Toronto as they try to build forward. Number 23, Tarek Rodriguez throws in, and it'll be a foul now as being bumped and going to the ground. You can't see the number from this side of the pitch, but it'll be a free kick, and it's literally just on the corner of the 18-yard box on the far side of the pitch. So a good opportunity here for a right-footed in-swinging kick, and maybe they can trouble Matt George just a little bit. Setting up the wall, Almeida's in it. Cavallini's in it. And standing over the ball is David Kaleli. Left foot in, headed out. They'll do a corner, excuse me. Man, that was Saveliev, Nikolai Saveliev. He's got a goal this year and he's got a good boot. And he's been quite a free kick specialist for this North Toronto side. It'll be his left foot coming onto this corner. The third of the game for the Nitros. This one's lofted up, coming out and grabbing it is George, and no problem. Pops over, Almeida's going to have a foot race going back. He gets it. Rodriguez D'ing up against him, looking for help. Cordon ricochets off a boot, stays in the middle of the pitch, and Woodbridge doing well to hold it. Carrero had his back to the ball. It was popped over his head. He had to pivot and turn around, and he didn't get there. It'll be a throw on the near side for the Nitros. So still at the point where League One is kind of feeling out who will potentially have the option to vie for this championship at the end. And we talked about this division. Of course, it's very, very good. Vaughan and Woodbridge sit at the top. Woodbridge, this is one fewer game played, and they can go top of the table. So if things were to stay like this, they would lead the division. But here's Souza, might have something to say about that. Souza around the keeper, still fighting at it and could not grab a hold of it. The defenders had got back, and getting in his position is Sosa, as the ball got around George, but not around the defender. And an opportunity there in the 29th minute. So Souza making his mark already, and Almeida looking to make his, and a little flick on, and a good job by Mark Rogel, who came out and stopped just short to the point where he would not be actively obstructing anybody. But knowing that he had to poke that one was Almeida, and all he could do was poke it wide of the net. And a player down on the ground right. So Rodriguez going off the back of the pitch, he'll walk around, and remains to be seen whether a substitution will be needed to be made or he will just walk it off a little bit. But we do see a player going to the middle of the pitch with a bib and looks to be checking in at the substitutes table. Meanwhile, back on the pitch, a nice sliding play and going to ground and grabbing the ball, and it was a very delayed call by Wong, as it took both players to kind of look at the referee before a call was made. But a good run there by Devin Bauer to draw the foul nonetheless. It looked like he got a tiny little bit of the foot, and it is Rodriguez going off, and checking into the game will be Kusha Nazemi. So number 3, Kusha Nazemi, and he's the deep man right now. Definitely has a little bit more height on him than Rodriguez did. Ball popped in, swinging around and reading it well as it took a nice little twirl towards the back post, and a late break, but it was read very well by George. And George in turn missed that kick and sent it right out of play almost immediately, giving possession right back. So a great pick through the air and then returning the favor. Playing wide now. Boyer to McDonald. McDonald far side of the pitch.
For Toronto's number 3, Kusha Nazemi, and exiting is number 23, Tarek Rodriguez in the 31st minute.
Nazemi on the ball. Fight with Almeida, got the hand up. Almeida came out, looked to be fairly clean. Carrero. Ball down for Almeida. Can he get a touch? He's offside as the flag up on the near side. And the assistant referee saw that Almeida a step ahead. Boyer now. And going to ground for the foul is Abdel El-Kanti, and El-Kanti not pleased that you can hear the whack on the boot from up here. Probably not the best move for the goal scorer Durea to try and get in Wong's head at this point, because that one without a question certainly was a foul. So this one is about 28 yards from the touchline and just outside the parameters of the 18-yard box. El-Kanti's ball in is a good one, and having to punch is George, and maybe even getting a piece of one of the Nitro attackers if he did, and he's on the ground right now. And the fist came very, very close to the face of the attacking player, who, apologies, we can't see who it is right now, but a bit concerned by his teammates. It's a trainer coming onto the field, and Rodriguez going down. You can see more of the second leading goal scorer in the league, trailing only Leiford Allen at Sigma. But Sousa, the offense kind of runs through him. So this would be a big blow for North Toronto if they're unable to see him back onto the pitch, and probably two of their speediest guys now are on the bench. McDonald, as the ball's back into play up the left-hand side, tries to squeeze one past Brandon Wellington, and that was not to be. It'll be a throw in here. 36 minute of play, 1-0 for the Woodbridge Strikers. It was a goal from outside the 18-yard box, a hopping ball. Andrew Durea has his team in the lead, and as it stands right now, in first place in the men's East Division. They trail Vaughan by a point, but in live standings, they are free and clear by 2. Opportunity to recap that other division where Sigma FC still perfect. They're 6-0, as are SC London, who started the year with a very good, albeit controversial, win over the Oakville Blue Devils. Late handball not given in the box. But both of those teams are top of the league, 18 points apiece. Separated only by goal differential, where FC London is actually the beneficiary of that stat. 17-4, 2 goals against for that London side. A little bit of a sea change in how everything would run in London, but a lot of the usual London names that you would see across a lot of the teams that have been successful there, London Marconi being one that comes into mind, but Michael Marcocha with 4 goals on the campaign. Elvir Gigolage, of course, he's been great. He's got 4 goals on the campaign. And most recently, last week, a win over North Mississauga. So to run down the rest of it, you got Windsor, then Toronto FC Academy, followed by Oakville and Mississauga on 5 points each. Sanjaks Lions at 3, and the Pro Stars still at 1. And that is your men's West Division as it stands, as most teams have played 6 games, and we're just at the very tail end of week 6 here, so still a lot to be played, but as we've said before, a lot of shaping up to know exactly who's going to be a contender. Felix Nam into the game for Sousa. Sousa will hit the bench. Number 7, Na, in your program. Perhaps, who knows, an opportunity with the big gun on the bench to be able to showcase that depth that Herman Kinge likes to play with. A lot of players into one system. They swarm the ball, they move well off the ball, and they'll have to do that if they want to get back into it as one of the premier teams in League One right now, holding a 1-0 lead. It's still slippery and a push in the back, and perhaps a light foul off the top, but realizing he got him the second time around is Andrew Duryea. Pushing in on goal. Here's a chance. Ball across, and a good job to get in front of it and block it with Cameron Brooks. And Brooks has been everywhere he needs to be today so far. Backtracking players, getting balls clear off dead balls. Former OUA All-Star at Laurentian. Here's North Toronto, still with the ball buzzing around the box, trying to get free and clear, and a good job heading it away, but not completely out of the way. Pushing and a push on the outside, and they will call a foul. Wellington irate, but the right call, is you can see from right here. We had a very good look at that. And a nudge in the back, and apologies to Wellington, but if you're going to make a turn, a little bit of a push, and that's always enough. Alcanti standing over the ball, just on the edge of the box, and getting a little bit of help and perhaps a pep talk, and making himself involved in this one is Nazemi. He heads back to his way. Top of the box. McDonald, a shot, and tipped over the bar. Neva McDonald had a good look. And a great save by George. But it'll go for the fourth corner kick now. So, Saveliev, far side, his left. Players running in. McDonald's there, over him, can't get ahead on it. No problem for the Nitros. They'll try to take it to the corner and play it back in. Lay it off. McDonald has a second shot, and coming up to get in the way and block it is Carrero. Good on offense, good on defense. Cavallini clipped as he went by. I'd be surprised if they stay out of the book, and he won't. This will be the first yellow card of the game, as not close to a goal-scoring opportunity, but a fast break rush, and anytime that happens, you're going into the book. Devin Boyer does. Just barely, still in the 41st minute as we're in the 42nd now, so Devin Boyer, yellow card issued on the stroke of 41 minutes. And Woodbridge now. Perhaps a little bit of bite into them as pushed in the back and knocked down, and Saveliev will commit the same offense that he had last time. Flicked over, no problem there. Rogel back to get it. An equalizer on his mind as he plays it to McDonald. Cutting in. And a nice ball outside. Saveliev. Good feet today. And getting caught flat-footed in turn was Alcanti. No problem, no ball still with the Nitros, and trying to make something happen. Towards the end of this half, playing it outside was De Abreu. He has the captain's armband on today. Saveliev goes to ground and falls. And probably, and to be fair, not something we keep track of, but going up and trying to put his hand up and accidentally touching that ball. But I think just for whatever reason, maybe to get his balance or whatever, but the hand of Neva McDonald went up and the ball went right off it, not out of bounds. So a direct yellow card there for Neva McDonald. He goes into the book in the 43rd minute. So a couple back-to-back yellows. Final 2 minutes. Can't be a whole lot of injury time. I'd imagine 2 if I were to wager a guess, but we could see as much as 3. As there are a few players down. Sousa, Rodriguez, and Carrero. Ball into the area. McDonald does well. Tried to knock it on one side of the corner flag. It was the other. It will be the second corner of the game for Woodbridge, and we'll see if they can make something out of it.
Washington to North Toronto's number 2, Devin Bowyer in the 41st minute, and to number 10, Neva McDonald.
Almeida, top of the box, trying to find some real estate, goes to ground, looks to the referee. The referee does not even look back. Sometimes that's the cold shoulder you get, and it looked to be fairly clean. But I don't blame Almeida for asking, as there was a little bit of contact there. It was deemed to be initiated by him as he went over a leg. He's fighting hard for the ball now, looking for a second for Woodbridge before this one heads to the half, as we were about 30 seconds away in regulation time. Cordon getting caught up and going back the other way, and they will bring it back. And I think Cordon's going to find himself in the book, as he felt he probably should have had a foul trying to get through. I think he might have taken a knock on the leg in that scrum. And Wong whistling it back, and in the 45th, Cordon goes into the books. So what was a rather tame first half in terms of card distribution, we've had 3 in the last 4 minutes. And we are 5 seconds away from the end time. And the big board is going up now, which, just to keep us in suspense, he'll hold down a little bit longer, and it is 3 minutes. So 3 minutes of additional time. Lots of time for the Nitros to try and win a corner. Boyer will instead win a throw right next to the sand pit down here that is very close to the field, and something that people should be mindful of when playing close to that sideline out of bounds. Ball in, flicked back out. Sosa, he's been so solid this half.
There will be a minimum of 3 minutes of out of time in the first half.
Boyer looking for help.
Number 9, Oscar Corden in the
Savaliev. Alcanti trying to get around, appealing for the throw. Was Woodbridge not denied, excuse me, and Boyer will have a throw again, and it's how they're trying to get it in. Boyer ball in, flicked out. Another good defensive half from Nicholas Chariot. Racing back and getting there is De Abreu. Still with the ball, De Abreu. Nice little footwork, plays it back to the defense. Looking for it on the far side. Boyer now, this one's in the air. It's going to be picked out by Wellington, but he doesn't get a clean head on it. It'll stay another throw. Right back to North Toronto. In quickly. Turned. Alcanti looking for De Abreu. And Bauer, same cast of characters. This one's flicked in. It's good. And having a very good look at it was Nikolai Savaliev. He had time to place it, and he was well defended going up, and perhaps a little bit of a shove just threw off his mechanics. We've played about 1.5 to 2 minutes of the 3 minutes, and we'll see how much of a rope Wong gives these guys. So very clear skies. It wasn't like that an hour and a half ago when this game was supposed to start. But after lightning warnings and after a delay of about 45 to 50 minutes, as a good play going back there by Colelli, a player in his hip pocket, was able to clear it to safety. About half an hour after the first sign of lightning, there was no more, thankfully. And this pitch has started to dry out considerably, and we can see dry spots on the track. And the clouds have dissipated, and it doesn't look like we're going to have too much more weather, which is good news for these two sides who are deep, deep into injury time in the first half. And you have to figure the next turnover will probably do it. As looking at his watch is Timothy Wong, not yet satisfied. And he'll probably give a few more seconds to play. George taking his time. He's happy to give his squad a 1-goal lead. And sends this one high in the sky, turned over. Looks like the whistle is in the mouth at this point, and that's the end of it for the first half with the Woodbridge Strikers. The only difference, a bullet off between North Toronto Nitros and the Woodbridge Strikers. Right now, Woodbridge enjoying a 1-0 lead. They've had that since the 20th minute. That's when a shot outside the area from Andrew Dorea found its way in, and as a result, it is the only goal scored this game. And Woodbridge, who are in those white jerseys, heading right to left in green. North Toronto is those home green jerseys. They will be left to right, so a little bit of a hill to climb as Cordon going in, ball out of play, and Possession will go to Woodbridge. A little bit of a gamesmanship there. He's throwing it up as high as he can and retreating back to defense. This one knocked out again, so still a few slippery moments out there on the pitch. You can see the field is drying up. You can also clearly see that Felix Sna was offside. Sna very, very speedy, but came in for Anthony Sousa, who on a corner kick took a whack which appeared to be almost on the knee. It looked like the face at first, but it's definitely favoring his right leg when he came off, and as a result, we have not seen him since. Cavallini inside, Almeida with a step over. Perhaps a little bit too fancy, as not everyone was on the same page, and now playing it wide. And the man who came in also as a substitute for Rodriguez is blistering down the side. And that's Kushin Azimi, and he gets dumped towards the end of that. A possession staying with Green, and a good job fighting forward by Callum Fleming. And Fleming gets it back to Nazimi. This one's kicked out the side. Carrero going to ground. That's the captain, De Abreu, getting it forward. And now a rush and an opportunity, and it just drifted a little too far across the end line. Crisis averted for Woodbridge, and good little pace to start this second half. Here at the home of the Toronto Varsity Blues and the North Toronto Nitros. It's a wonderful facility. And nice upgrades, and now that the rain's gone, it's a great place to watch a game. And there are a few people, you can't see them because we're pointing at the bench side, but on this near stadium side right below me. And a shot that was dovetailing away to the corner and did not trouble George in the slightest. But a lot of fans out to watch this one, holding their umbrellas just in case. A very affordable family outing for those who want to take the kids down, especially if you live anywhere around the annex. A nice play by McDonald to get through before he's bumped on the side of the knee, and another late call by Wong, and visibly angry about it is Carrero. As there probably was a foul, but it seems today that unless you're selling the fouls, you're not going to get them. Neba McDonald gingerly getting up, leaving the kick duties to David Colelli. Ball right back to Neba, right into traffic as he rips a shot that I think he was looking for something else, but finds nothing but the end line. So here's George digging into this one, make sure he has his footing. And sending one high that'll skip over half, headed first time, a push in the back. And not liking the call was Dereye, but correct call it was. You can't do that. Nazimi, ball knocked out, will stay with North York. And a good bounce for the Nitros as it hops off the corner flag, giving them their 5th corner of the game. And hopefully they can make do on it. Nikolai Savaliev, waiting for everyone to set up, will put his left foot into this one. It's a good ball away from the keeper. Hopped up and unfortunately hit the hand of David Colelli, he was trying to corral it just on the edge of the 6-yard box. had it pop up and hit him in the hand, and that's unfortunate because it could have been a good goal-scoring opportunity if he got that one back across the face of goal, or maybe even had it go himself. Something low into the corner might have ricocheted. All for naught, though, and it's been kind of that kind of day, an opportunity for Sousa as he hit the post very, very early on, back in the 11th minute. Had another opportunity in the 29th as he skipped past the keeper, only to find a defender in his way and wasn't able to hit it into the net. And 10 minutes later, he was no longer on the pitch because of the injury after the corner kick. So definitely a rough go for North Toronto, but trying to make the most of it into the area, trying to turn a chance top of the box. Cascalelli, here's an opportunity, and it's over the bar. Creeping up on that far side was Devin Boyer, and very nearly put that one in the top corner, but it just sailed on him a little bit. Saveliev will take a seat. As he goes to the bench and puts on a penny. A new player coming in as George will send this one high. Hops over. Almeida doing well to hold on to it. Cordon. Giving away, Cordon holding it. Nazemi lost possession. Back within his chariot. It's Jaden Doyle into the game. Excuse me for not getting you that name earlier. Jaden Doyle, who will wear number 6 in your program. Giving away, Almeida kind of hangs his head a little bit as putting it on a rope was Kaleli, but back all the way to find his ground with Sosa, who's been outstanding today, and then going to ground after a little bit of a knock from Brandon Wellington, and it goes out of play and going to ground, and they're going to say the foul is on the player who went down. De Abreu going down, he'll have to go off for a little bit. He was told to wait by the assistant referee, and we're about to get back underway here as the free kick from 15 yards inside their own end will sail all the way back to 15 yards into the other end. And somehow a couple knockarounds and Oscar Cordon with the ball himself, and he's been double teamed almost every time he's had it. No different this time as the ball skips out. We'll go to Woodbridge, and not quite being able to believe that is Kushin Azimi and some of his teammates, but Chariot now over the ball instead. Looking for a flick on. To the feet, chested, controlled, a little bit of grabbing as the jersey went flying. Jersey of Dylan Carrero. Carrero keeps going, and he's going to appeal for the corner kick, and he's not going to get it. It's last touch by him, and Mark Rogel will take the ball and send it back up. Carrero, of course, a household name if you follow any type of youth soccer in Canada. It was the 2013 U20 Player of the Year. Was over at Dundee for a spell as well. So you talk about everything that this league was set up for, and professional development and the tactics Benito Floro has undertaken to make sure that you don't lose any good Canadian players ever again. There are definitely players on this field that are a testament to not missing guys, saying, hey, we're not going to let any player slip through the cracks, because this is probably one of the first generations of a turnaround of very good players, and this is good passing, by the way, from the Nitros as they work it around the box. Boyer trying to find his way in. He'll appeal for a touch, doesn't get one. But certainly, if you're excited about this generation and the Oscar Cordons and the Dylan Carreras, and how good Carrero has been, and Cavallini, Petrasso, and Carl Ouimet coming up through the Montreal system. A lot of players who have found their way in. Of course, Jonathan Osorio not too long ago, just playing down at Lamport in the Canadian Soccer League. 2 years later, he finds himself in a Team Canada kit and in the midfield next to global superstars like Juvenko and Michael Bradley. So right now, Wong is in a battle with some of the players, but as a result, the attention which was towards midfield has now been shifted over here back to the box, and clearing it out is Wellington, and doing well to do that. And a good header there, and having to hustle to get to it off a give and go was Nazimi. He didn't get to it. So in conclusion, the more you support youth, local soccer, the more you're going to see the benefits of it down the road. And for anyone who's paid attention and cared about when are we going to qualify for a Men's World Cup, when will that happen? A lot of people thought Brazil, some people still believe Russia. A couple very important ties are coming up in Vancouver and in San Pedro Sula against a very, very good Honduran team and a very difficult place to play. But beyond that, 4 years where we assume the World Cup may be in Qatar, but it remains to be seen. And then after that, who knows? We could be down the road in 2026. There's a foul call here, now Almeida going to ground, and Callum Fleming not liking the call one bit, but does his best to walk away. Opportunity about 40 yards out, almost tapped dead center, and Wellington standing over the ball. Put it back in, and then he'll back off it and leave it for a teammate, and instead Carrero's going to be on it. Carrero ball into the box. Didn't touch anybody, but giving chase is Nazimi, who's got plenty of room and likes to have the ball at his feet. We've learned that throughout this season, and certainly in this game since he's come in as a substitute and almost slipping again and losing the ground, but getting the ball all the way down to Na, and he's bodied off the ball into the box with an elbow that kind of looked like it was thrown out, and you wonder if that was a makeup call, because it certainly looked like Felix Na was the last person to touch that ball. And granted, the linesman, the assistant referee, will have a far better view than I have. But it certainly looked to them and to the Woodbridge players like Na was the last one to touch it. To me, though, that arm got very high, and that wasn't really charging fairly. But you're not likely to give a penalty call, as this one touched out again. He'll go for a corner on the other side. The 8th, by the way, for North Toronto. So at some point you have to say, well, with 8 corners, can we do something with one of them? They've been kind of snaky. So it's Emmanuel Isaac in for Woodbridge is the short story. And Lucas McNaughton, with 2 goals on the campaign, will come into the game for the Nitros. He was on for that corner kick, and this time Callum Fleming had the ball ricochet off. Good defense there. Back in. Na. Rodriguez across the face of goal. Good looking header, but a good job by Carrero to get back and not give any room for Abdallah El-Kanti. So without that goal scoring that Anthony Sousa brings, it has to fall to someone else, and probably the reason for Lucas McNaughton coming into the game. Found the net a couple times already this year.
Entering for North Toronto, number 4, Lucas McNaughton. Exiting number 16, Carl Diabreu in the 61st minute. And entering for Woodbridge, number 18.
To be fair, Diabreu has had a very good game as he heads out.
Brendan Wellington in the 61st minute.
And trying to slip past is McNaughton, as it just slipped off his boot as he takes over the captain's armband. Does well to win it back, and that's something we like to see from a captain. McNaughton logging appearances in 3 games totaling 196 minutes. We'll make it this is the 4th he's played. Goals against Masters and Aurora FC, which are the Two teams directly below North York came in 4-1 wins and 5-0 wins, and across the face of goal, George gets to it with a hand and again knocked out, and for the 9th time we will have. So Rodriguez now with Savliev heading out. It will be Russell Rodriguez over the ball. Goal to his name as well, we should mention, this season. Ball swung in and headed out right away, and an opportunity here to go if Carrera wants to. He'll turn back. Nice little ball into the corner there, and the substitute looking for his first touch, Emmanuel Isaac, will run down. He will get the throw. Cavallini, nice flick outside to Almeida. Isaac stays on side, going to the line. It will be a corner kick. As you can make an argument, it might have been close to going out already, which is exactly what David Colelli was doing. I can't read lips, and he was facing the other way, but I bet all the money in my pocket. Nonetheless, it will be the 3rd corner of the game for the Woodbridge Strikers. And it's going to be Carrero who will put his right foot into this one. Cavallini's in the box. Isaac's in the box. Back post had an opportunity, but it got to about the penalty spot before it was hit, and now swung back in again, and then flicked on and not getting enough on it, as having to fade away to get on top of it was the recent substitute, Emmanuel Isaac. And no trouble at all as Rogel sets it up. Here we are in the 65th minute, excuse me. A great job by Carrero, but couldn't keep it in play, and then thrown down the line, and a great heads-up play by North York if they can catch them napping, and Na was running in. Having to flick it over the back was Sosa in the middle. Boyer now with the ball at his feet. Doesn't mind a long ball if he's got it. Nice little flick on by Na. New substitute in. And winning another corner, the 10th of the game, was Jaden Doyle, as a good run forward by Doyle. And Na, very physical player, very fast player, but he will flick on those headers and not afraid to be aggressive in the air. So 66th minute of play, excuse me, right now, as North York still trying to claw back into this. A draw would do them wonders. They've already, just back post and very nearly. And that's one of those situations where the player running onto it, in this case, there were 2 of them, and the second could not adjust to the opportunity that the first had. So they've had opportunities in and around the goal, and that time Matt George lucky not to be beaten, as it was Russell Rodriguez who could have had the last touch but just couldn't pick up the pace of the ball or the direction in time. Callum Fleming giving close watch on that, but his teammate will win the ball instead. And then going to ground and knocking that one out, saying no one touched a leg. Jaden Doyle. Doyle seemed to disagree, but his teammate's back with the ball now. Darian Bygrave, and then running in is Na, and Na doing well not to touch the keeper, but pressure him into kicking the ball almost directly into the bench. And Boyer looking for someone to throw to. Caught in. Doyle turns, looking for options across the face of goal. It looked like Chariot and tried to get the ball and then whacked the back of the head of Rodriguez, and doing the right thing, I think, as much as it would infuriate me if I was in a position of pitch. Ball goes all the way back to the end line and coming out and keeping it in place so they won't have to play a throw in is Mark Rogel. Rogel playing it dangerously across, but it was perfectly and on a dime to McDonald, who plays a nice ball down. I guess if you're going to play a dangerous ball and you're pinpoint accurate, then it's not so dangerous, is it? Looking for a touch is Almeida, and not happy is Rodriguez, as he thought he'd won another corner. But in the 70th minute, it is still 1-0 for Woodbridge. They've had that lead for the better part of an hour at this point. And cutting in, and this is nice, and across, and almost linking up with Na. But it was a beautiful run through the box. And now going to ground is the goal scorer, Duraye. And I don't know if that was an errant arm so quickly in a flurry of players, but we'll see if he's okay. But that's a couple 2-minute stoppages in the past two. So anyway, ball out the end. It'll be a goal kick for George, a former Voyageur at Laurentian. Would have played at this field a couple times. And sent high and over half. First two by Nazimi. Good control. Nazimi to the outside. He's going to have to hurry if he wants to get it. He does, but it's not enough to keep possession. And going back is Steven Almeida. Still Almeida. Rodriguez now quick to take a throw. Still in the corner. Popped across. Dangerous. Falling. Half volley. And then was not going to trouble as Callum Fleming put a left boot into it, but kind of leaned back on it, which sent it up a little high. So it's out of play. And got about 73 minutes done. Still a 1-0 lead. Cal McClellan here, League One, Week 6. As match day 6 for both of these teams is, I should say it's match day 5, I actually believe, for North Toronto. But certainly match day 6 for a Woodbridge side who has the lead right now and is in position to go top of the table, hopping over that Vaughan Missouri team that they already tied. And Woodbridge and Vaughan, of course, a good rivalry. A lot of good Italian heritage up there. Making for a good derby. And the referee blowing the whistle again, and we're not sure what for other than to say you can make a substitution in the middle of play when one team has a free kick. No wonder North Toronto is irate. So stepping out of the game is Christian Cavallini. His day is done. And coming into the game was Michael Belak, former FC Montreal player. He's here this year. This one right into the breadbasket, of Matt George.
Entering for Woodbridge, number 22, Michael Belak. Exiting is number 10, Christian Cavallini in the 74th minute.
Belak, of course, spent some time over in lower levels of the Montreal Impact organization, who many people will be happy to know are 2 goals down in the Canadian Championship to the good guys, Toronto FC, after a 4-2 victory the other night, in which, tying it back into prospects, Jordan Hamilton, Jonathan Osorio, a brace each, versus a Montreal team. And that was a very cheeky play, but saying it was already out of play, or still in play, I guess, when it hit McDonald. It goes for a corner kick. McDonald couldn't believe it, but Hamilton Osorio scoring 2 goals each and beating a side with Drogba and Piatti in the lineup. So hey, it was a good day to be red. Woodbridge with their 4th corner. This one drifting off. North Toronto now pushing forward. knocked back into play, and good to see back on the pitch is Nicholas Chariot going up for that one again, showing no worse for wear, and that's very good, and flicked back by Lucas McNaughton, who tried to put it through the tiniest of windows, and instead Chariot getting the ball now, and it net last off him, and North Toronto a little bit of urgency here. They know they can't wait to the last minute, and they know if they get one, they might not get two, so certainly trying to get anything they have going forward without sacrificing and leaving the cupboard bare at the back. Nazemi, nice step around, looking for a couple runs. He had two of them going through, but it was a good defensive cohesion at the back for Woodbridge. This one flicked in. Nah, hit on the back, screamed at by his counterpart to get up as he just took a little bit of a knock. This one skipping over the boot of Callum Fleming. Grabbing it, mauled by Almeida was McDonald, trying to get in the way. Almeida standing over the ball and should be getting a yellow card for his shenanigans, and he is going to get a yellow card, as frantically trying to get this ball back into play. Almeida did whatever he could to stand in front of it, and sure, stand in front of it, but accept what's going to happen afterwards. Almeida going in the book, mark it in the 77th minute. Knocked back by McNaughton, having a little bit of time to give chase is Isaac, but McDonald's so swift on his feet. McNaughton now playing backwards and still giving chase is Emmanuel Isaac. He's been everywhere, and he forces a turnover, and it's a good one. Now Almeida to Isaac, and looking for Corden. Isaac goes past him, but a giveaway there. Corden not happy with it. Over the top. Great ball and control by Doyle. Doyle flicking on to Nah. Could this be it going forward? Knocked into the area, and no problem whatsoever for George, who's happy to let this one run and forcing him to pick it up. This is Nah. High through the air, down. Oh, and it took a bounce right off. It looked like the side of the face of Bielak. McNaughton, great play there, is going around was Carrero, but not enough to take it, and having two balls thrown at him at once was Boyer. He's got a good throw. Good first two by Darian Bygrav, who's been great at that right back position. Looking for a switch and calling for it all the way over as Nazemi finally gets to him, and he better have good control if he wants to be able to move with it. He does, and he does, except it was taken away by Corden, and then in turn taken away by McNaughton. Corden still giving chase. McNaughton, well done, flicked back to the side. Rodriguez, still Rodriguez, plays nice squarely to the top. Chance now for Incanti. Doyle, great ball in, and Canty following it up. Will this be an opportunity? Can he create space? Again, right at Matt George, whose positioning has been stellar. And part of the reason the sheet is still clean here in the 79th minute, Woodbridge, 11 minutes plus whatever they add for injuries away from going top of the table. Second or third time this game, however, George has a little over the top and maybe rushed that one a little bit and sent a goal kick, or excuse me, a handle drop kick directly out of bounds. North York just forcing the issue. I'd say that it's probably been about 70 to 30 at least here in the second half in terms of possession. They've done well to hold it, and for every minute that Woodbridge has had the ball, it's been probably two for North Toronto. Header all the way back, little bit of heart-stopping moments there, but no problem for David Colelli. He's been very solid on this back line so far today. Bringing the ball up, looking for options. A nice little flick on there by Nazemi. Finds the way down to the corner. Nah. Trying to play catch, with Bielak. And in is Nazemi. And they're going to say it's going to be a free kick on the corner. It's going to be called against Corden. And ball's going to be placed down, and Rodriguez standing over it. And they'll probably have to be back into their 18-yard box, and they're going to make them count it out. And here we go. And actually, there is a player who is down right now and is holding his face and calling for either a substitution or calling for attention. And the referee is trying to get Nicholas Chariot off the pitch, who stood up. He's going off now, and he previously took that knock to the head. But Bygrave, Isaac, and Belak have come in. By my count, they have Scott and Zwain on the sideline. Good hit in. Oh, and a tip over the bar and very nearly tied it. What a wonderful hit from Jaden Doyle, the substitute. It was with pace, it was dipping. If not for the excellent goaltending of Matt George, who will now fend off yet another corner kick, the 13th. Short ball. McDonald came up to get it. It went off a player. I'm going to say it's going to go out off of North Toronto, and a good defensive play to knock that one free and clear, while substitution made now, and Woodbridge looking for the opportunity to get a man in, and it in fact will be Damian Scott. So mark that in the 83rd. It's going to be Damian Scott in, and here's Isaac off to the races, just barely behind the last defender, having to be careful as McDonald. Isaac across the face of goal. But it wasn't direct enough on net. Is in fact done for Nicholas Chariot. We hope nothing serious, and certainly nothing concussion or head related. It's going to be long standing. It was a good game played by him today. And Almeida takes the ball in. Not necessarily in a hurry to take this. Popped up, Kaleli having to deal with Isaac. McDonald's with him, a nice little header, and then McDonald doing well to send it back across. Good communication by the center backs. So standing here in the 84th minute, still a 1-0 lead for Woodbridge. North Toronto pushing very, very hard. See if they can find that equalizer. It would put them on 10 points for the year. North Toronto still do not have a draw, just the 3 wins and 1 loss. And it was a very narrow loss to Vaughan Azzurri, which speaks to probably why this game is so tight. Offside Almeida. Or excuse me, Isaac, as he plays the ball away. Not far enough to be malicious, but far enough that you can eat a few precious seconds. And it's played to the far side. Boyer flicking in, nice little turn. Gets it to Fleming. And Fleming had it go off his boots, going to go out of play, and ball coming back in. Darian Bygrave will hold on to it now. Carrero, nice control by the back line, and then flicked away and forfeited possession as soon as I said that. Back as hard as he possibly can, and a good challenge going in by Scott, winning possession for his side, and then almost as quickly it's turned over. McNaughton, nice little step over. Steven Almeida clearing it out. Almeida has had a very good game. He's going to fall back into more of a defensive role now. Rodriguez calling for the handball. He might have had a case. Linesman said no. Be another corner kick. I apologize. This is number 13. Last one was 12, but they're certainly racking up, and an opportunity to keep that going right here. Ball placed on the corner. Could be Doyle over there, who had a good ball in the last time. It is, and this one just as good. And a player going forward, and you got to think that could have been an equalizer there, as that was Lucas McNaughton running onto the ball. And another great chance for the Nitros to equalize, but it just has not been meant to be. Talked about Almeida. He's also been a staple on the Canadian youth side. Had the chance to go over and do training sessions in Sunderland, at Carlisle, as well as Dundee. I think the more well-traveled a lot of these kids are at an early age, the more they can understand what it takes. I think for a while there, you know, you get to the position where the competition is not as fierce in parts of the country, so you need to go over there. But with a lot of what's being done here, you're really seeing the developmental aspect pick up, and it's something that's first and foremost for Dino Rossi and everyone at League One. It's just anything you can do to give these kids a chance to go over. And a bump in the back, and this will be the equivalent of a corner kick, is plowing through the back as Almeida. He's got to be careful. He's on a yellow. And he's saying, how is that not a card? We had a ball almost in our possession, at our feet, and a player plowed through the back of him. About 20 yards from his own goal, but I think Wong in the mood to send a guy off for what will be about 3 minutes of regular time left, and then probably I'd wager at least 4 minutes of extra time, maybe 5. Giving opportunity, and this one is in and punched away safely, giving the opportunities for scholarships at the NCAA level, the opportunity to apply trades at the USL level that we've seen, even some MLS opportunities, and going to the pocket now and right into the pocket. And right into the book, not 10 minutes after he came on, is Damian Scott. You can mark that in the 88th. So Almeida a little close and not happy with the space he's been given. And backing them up. And they have, that wall has probably moved a good 5 feet, as you can see them still inching forward. And it'll move a few more when the ball's kicked. And it's a low shot, and it very nearly ducked towards near post. Still on the line and in. Almeida given away. And they'll call a foul there, and it's going to go against North Toronto. And for my money, with the pushing and shoving, I cannot believe that a call that similar to the call that we just saw. Unbelievable, but it's a difference between a red card. All calls are equal, some calls are more equal than others. I think that's what they say. Not long to kill, about a minute of regular time, probably between 4 and 5 in injury time. The fourth official, Vladimir Marikov, will let us know that very shortly. Not too many offsides to worry about, and a solid job by both Dan McClintock and John St. Laurent O'Connor on the sides, and certainly for Wong in the middle, this wasn't the easiest game to call. It's a lot of ticky-tack fouls, a lot of players taking as much as they can give, and probably this has been the best possession we've seen in the second half, and it took a ricochet off the back boot of Dylan Carrero as he and Corden and Almeida played catch, and now given back in possession 5 seconds away, the board being held. We'll know how much longer North York has to find an equalizer, or if Woodbridge can salt away what has been an excellent performance, and it will be 5 minutes. So 5 minutes on the board. Long ball from Fleming, and it's going to die just into the corner, and if he can give chase, Rodriguez gets a touch, and they will say it's a goal kick. So good run from Russell Rodriguez. He tried to make as much as he could out of it. George coming back to grab the ball, and now if you can make a substitution to waste some time, to be fair, I don't think there is anyone left to substitute for Peter Pinizzato and his side. So George will send this one high. About a minute of injury time played so far. If you're wondering why we're running late, well, there was that big thunder and lightning storm early on. Luckily, we got away with just one warning. Field dried up, ball popped in. Back on the pitch, Rogel has it, and he's got to hurry to try and find some players forward. Push forward, we'll see now a little bit for Green, but this game was supposed to start far earlier. And instead, we have been pushed back by the weather. And this one goes out of play. It'll go for Woodbridge. Almeida not in any hurry to get over there. Rodriguez wishes he would be. Almeida's throw, finding the head of Isaac. McDonald going back. Rogel sends it high in the air. Rodriguez, Almeida there first. Backtracking as McNaughton does well to win it. Time to turn, time to hold. Going in very hard is Belak. Nazemi losing possession. Belak coming away with it. A nice ball down the side, but a good job by David Colelli to read that ball, hold his ground, puts it on Boyer's foot. He had to come in from the outside. He's going back for Jaden Doyle. Now to Nah still has the ball. Doyle into the corner, guarded up. Good defense across the face, and you know, why not? Another corner kick. And coming all the way up for this one is Mark Rogel. And staying back just in case is Nazemi. So Woodbridge, a 1-0 lead. Late stages, ball into the area. Well, we have some late drama. This one heads out. Rogel heading almost halfway back, but not completely. Popped in. Chance all the way through the 6. Knocked down and then booted out in a good play on defense. Isaac trying to stretch, but having to run back is Nazemi. He's got the keeper. Keeper will run back to his, and he can just jump. Actually, he can't jump on it because he played it back with a foot. Instead, he'll have to go wide. Colelli, and we've got about, I'd say 2 minutes of the extra time left. Nice play there by Nazemi. Plays a ball long. It's going to reach Doyle unless it reaches George first, which it does, as he smothers it and goes to ground. And still, Woodbridge just holding on and waiting for the whistle to come. Ball hops over. Isaac could end it here, and a header back and a very good play. Calling for the ball, but Rogel will play wide left instead. Boyer's had a very good game. He'd like to cap it off with a contribution to an offensive late goal, as would everyone with North Toronto. They're waiting for it, but they forfeit possession there. Man who is just yellow carded, playing it back. Good job. Isaac now holding. He's played through and he's onside. He's going to probably take it to the corner if he can, but instead he'll play it across the face of goal, and a lack of communication between Nazemi and Rogel will send this one out of play when it could have been jumped on by the keeper. Those are the late stages that you have to make as much opportunity when you have a chance to get the ball, but taking their time to grab it is Scott. He'll go to the sidelines and wait for the throw from Darian Bygrave. Minute and a half to a minute left in this one. Going to the corner. Possession taken, free kick headed towards North Toronto. Nitros do not have a whole lot of time. Someone's going to have to take it, and going over there is David Colelli. Deep. He'll take it quick, and pushing it up is Boyer. Boyer again up the line. He'll find a teammate. Back to Colelli. Colelli, as Mark Rogel side by side, will take the ball up. They got to push forward, and Rogel has got to send it forward. And a very short 5 minutes, but 5 minutes nonetheless, and full value for their victory was Woodbridge. An excellent guarding against a flurry.